Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you in ASP.NET Core web application how to search records with the drop down list control, which is a select option element. And here we got the final output. Notice the header tags search records with the drop down list select option element in ASP.NET Core Razor pages. Below the headers we have the drop down list which contains a male and female and button control to submit the selected option from the drop down list. And below that we have a table which displays all the records from the database. Now let's search female. When I click search records, in our table we have 1 and 2 females. So search records, and here we got the results. It's showing only the female employees. Let's search for the male. Click search records. Is a male records. If you want to get all the records, get all the records. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before writing the coding part in ASP.NET Core to search records using drop-down list, first we'll check the table in SQL Server Management Studio. The table name is new employee join, which contains 5 columns: EMP ID, EMP name, email, gender, and join date. Now my aim is I want to search records with a drop-down list control from this gender column, and this table I have created in this EMP database. So let's write the coding part. For this video tutorial, I'm creating a new ASP.NET Core web application. Go to File, New, Project, and from the project I'm selecting ASP.NET Core web application. Click Next. Let's give the project name Search Records with drop-down list Razor pages, and I want to save this project in D drive. Click Create, and after that I'm selecting the web application template which contains the Razor pages, and I'm using the ASP.NET Core version is 3.0. Then click Create. And the project is created successfully. Let's close this default window. Open Solution Explorer. First, in this project I'm adding a new folder called models to add the classes. Right click the project name, add new folder, and the folder name is models folder. Now in this models folder I'm adding 2 classes. First class is which is a POCO class which contains only the public properties, and the second one which contains our DB context. So let's right click the models folder, add class. Let's give the class name is EMP class, add, and here we got our EMP class. Now first in this EMP class I'm adding the package called using system.component model.data innertions. After that let's add the after that I'm adding the key attribute. Then let's add the properties. Prop double tab, which will create the property. The first property type is the integer type, and the property name is EMP ID. In our table we have 5 columns, so I require the 5 properties: EMP name, email, gender, and join date. So let's add prop double tab, and the second property name is, and the second property type is string type, and the column name I'm adding ename, prop double tab. The next property type is string, and the property name is email, prop double tab, and the property type is the cat type. Is a gender. Notice here I have added the cat data type. In our table, our gender type is a cat. So notice here, so we need to add the same type here. Then the last property, which is a date time, join date, is a property name. After adding the properties in this EMP class, next let's open Solution Explorer. We'll add another class for the DB context. Right click the models folder, add class. I'm adding the class name is application DB context. Now in this class I want to inherit the DB context. So the DB context belongs to the namespace using Microsoft.Entity Framework. Notice here the entity framework is not showing in this intelligence. So we need to add the package. So let's install Solution Explorer, right click the project name, manage netted packages, select that one, switch to browser and search for Microsoft Entity Framework Core, and this is the package I want to install. Select that one, click install. Click OK. Let's accept the license. And the package is installed successfully. After adding this package, next we require another package, SQL Server, Microsoft.Entity Framework Code.SQL Server. Let's add this one, and this is the package I require. Click install. Click OK. Let's accept the license. And the package is installed successfully. Now open Solution Explorer. In the project, expand the dependencies folder. Notice in these dependencies we have a packages folder which contains these two packages, Entity Framework Core and Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. Just now we have installed into our project. After that, we require the data source connection string in our project. So let's first close this error list as well as the output message box. Server Explorer, right click the data connections, add connection. Let's add the SQL Server name is. After adding SQL Server name, now I'm selecting the database name. The database is the EMP database. The table I have created in this database, so I have selected EMP. Test connection is succeeded. OK. OK. And here we got our emp.dbo is added successfully in our data connections folder. Now we require this data source of this EMP. Right click the emp.dbo, go to properties. So notice here in the properties there is a connection string which contains the data source. We require this data source. Just copy this data source and we'll add this data source in app settings.json file. Open that app settings.json file. Now let's add the connection string between double quotes. I'm adding connection strings colon comma between double quotes. I'm adding my connection string name, which is my connection, colon between double quotes. I'm pasting the data source which I have copied. Now in the application DB context class, let's add the using Microsoft dot entity framework core. So here now we got the package here. So after that, let's inherit the DB context colon DB context. Now let's create the constructor of this class CTOR double tab, which will create the constructor. Now in this constructor I'm adding DB context options. DB context options. In this DB context options I'm adding application DB context and options colon base options. Now we'll add a property for the DB set. Prop double tab. The property type is DB set. In this DB set I'm adding the class name, the entity name, which is the EMP class, and the property name. Here the property name is very important. We must add our table name. So our table name is new employee join. Copy that one and paste here, which is our property name. So now here we got a class, DB context, and our connection string in the app settings.json file. Now the next step, open Solution Explorer. The node is in the program startup.cs file. Open that one. Now in the startup.cs file we'll add the DB context services and our connection strings. First let's add the packages using Microsoft dot entity framework core, and the next package we need to add the models folder. So using my project name search the project name dot models folder. After adding these two packages, we require another package called using Microsoft dot entity framework core dot SQL server. So after these three packages, now notice here the configure services method, which contains the iService collection interface. So let's add the services dot DB context, add DB context. In this add DB context I am adding our context. Key context is the application DB context, our class name, options dot use SQL server method, and this SQL server method takes the connection string. So let's add the configuration dot get connection string. Now in this connection string method I am adding my connection string name. It's a get connection string, so which takes the string parameter, double quotes. Now let's add our connection string name. Open app settings.json file. Let's copy that my connection and paste between these double quotes and end with semicolon. That's it. Now let's write the code in the index eraser page. Open Solution Explorer In the project, notice there is a pages folder. Expand that one. I'm opening the index.cshtml, which is a default page for this project. Open that one. Now right click the mouse, go to page model. Now in this page model, first I'm adding the packages using Microsoft Entity Framework Core, and the next package is I'm adding my project name, search records DTL reserve pages .models folder. After adding these two packages, notice in this class I am adding our application DB context class. Application DB context underscore ADB is an object, and in the constructor also I am adding my DB application DB context ADB. Now let's add that ADB is equals to ADB. Now let's add the property, prop double tab. The property type is the IEnumerable. Now in this IEnumerable, the type of objects to enumerate from the EMP class, and here the property name search records is a property name. Now in the public void onGet method, let's fetch all the records from the database first. So here I'm adding search records. The property name of this IEnumerable is equals to underscore ADB, which is our application DB context object dot. Now let's add our table name. Our table name is new employee join dot toList method. Now here in this onGet method, I have written the code to display all the records first in our index razor page. Now I am adding another public void, which is onPost method, and in this onPost method I am adding the parameter, which is a string parameter, search gender. Here is not the string. I want to search the records based on the gender, so our gender data type in our table I have declared the cat data type. So here I am adding the cat. Now let's add the search functionality in this onPost method. Let's declare the property name search records is equals to from x in underscore ADB, our application DB context object dot. The table name is new employee join. After that I'm adding the where class. In this where class I'm adding the x dot. I want to search records based on the gender, double equals to search gender, which is the object name. Search gender select x dot toList method. That's it. We have written the code in this onPost method to search the records based on the gender. Now in the index.cshtml, let's delete this p tag, and also let's add the heading search records with drop down list select option element ASP.NET Core Razor pages. After that, I'm adding horizontal line. Now, after the horizontal line, I'm adding first I want to display all the records from the database in this view page. So let's add the table element. Table class is equals to I'm adding the bootstrap class is a table. Then close the table. dr table headers employee ID. The second table header is employee name. Table header email, and the next column name is a gender, and the last one is a join date. Then I'm implementing for each loop to fetch the record. So at symbol for each variable x in model dot, I'm adding my search records, which is our property name. This one, enumerable property name search records. Then let's continue the table elements. td table data at x dot. See, here we got the column names. The first column name is empid td at x dot, ename td at x dot, email. The next column at x dot gender. Then the last column is at x dot join date. That's it. We have binded the data from database in this table. Now we require the form tag. After the horizontal line, I'm adding form tag. Form method is equals to post. We are posting the data, so I'm closing this form tag after the table element. Now in this form tag, I'm adding select option element. In this option, the first one is select gender, selector disabled, and the second option and the second option is male. Option female. Now here in the option, now if you notice in this select element, we have three options. The first option is a default label for the drop down list control, and the second and third options are the male and female labels. So the first option value, here the value I'm adding M, capital M. If we check in our database table, the gender column contains only M for capital M and capital F, male and female. So let's add the capital M option, value is equals to capital F. So after adding the options in the select, now in the select, I'm adding the property attribute called name is equals to, here the name I'm passing this search gender property name. Then after the select element, I require the button control. Input type is equals to submit, and the value of the button control search records, Let's close the button control. So after the button control, I'm adding the simple href tag to display all the records. ASP page is index, and the label name is get all the records. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Now it's time to check the results on the browser. Browse with. I'm selecting the browser Google Chrome, set as default, click browse. Oops, here we got an error, so let's fix this one. So in the index.html, notice here the e name, if you check in our table, which is the emp name, so we need to add emp class. This is the emp name, so make sure the property name must be our table column names. So sorry for that, and switch back again to index.html, and now we got emp name. That's it. Let's save this file. Now let's reload the browser, and here we got the final output. Notice the header tags search records with the drop down list select option element in ASP.NET Core Razor pages. Below the headers we have the drop down list, which contains a male and female, and button control to submit the selected option from the drop down list. And below that we have a table which displays all the records from the database. Now let's search female. When I click search records, in our table we have 1 and 2 females. So search records, and here we got the results. It's showing only the female employees. Let's search for the male. Click search records, is a male records. If we want to get all the records, get all the records. That's it.